Happy Father's Day, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast with the Boys here at All Lacrosse Live on a Sunday morning. Appreciate you all getting up with us on a nice little weekend like we're having. With me, I have Shawn Slaght, the world traveler, who is in Alberta today. How you doing, Shawn?
Doing very good, thanks, Gary.
Touring Canada slowly, piece by piece. That's great.
A little bit.
And over in Connecticut, I have Muffler Mike Kostiuk. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, Gary.
And to everybody, all the fathers and all the acting fathers out there, again, happy Father's Day from all of us here at All Lacrosse all the time. We're hoping you're having a tremendous day. God knows in this place here, all the ugly ties have already been bought out, so I hope you have other stuff. It'll be awesome. Yeah. But, of course, we got a lot to cover today, man. We have all kinds of lacrosse news, good and bad. We have all kinds of games from all the leagues, PLL, MSL, WLA, OJLL, OSL, as well as some Western stuff that Shawn's going to take us through. But let's quickly get through the network stuff, and then we will get to it. So to remember that all the episodes are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and you can catch all the action on elpsports.com. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons, and always share with your family, friends, and people you don't know, and people you do know, and anybody else. Enjoy our affiliates, including the Broad Street Bully Podcast, Philly Press Box Radio, Edge of Philly Sports Live, Birds IQ, Patterson Avenue Fanatics, Talking Philly Sports with Matty B, Devereaux Sports, Painted Lines, and Party on Broad. As you can see, we have shows every day of the week, something for everybody. In case you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab the podcasts on all major podcasting companies, which include Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Spotify. As well, you can go to the ELP Sports YouTube page to watch any of the library shows, or if you're looking for ours in particular, you can even go to the All Across All the Time YouTube page and catch that and so much more. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting elpsports.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. And while you're there, please sign up to our newsletter. If you're looking for a place to wet your whistle, Dolan's is your place to go, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. You've got music, great times, memorabilia giveaway. If you want to take a look at it before you head there, dolansbar.com. But really, have a beer with the boys. Just get your butt on over to 24 East Sellers Avenue to Dolan's Bar. Sherry's Ticket Town. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code ELP10. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need more of a personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050 or visit their office at 1382 Naumans Creek Road, Suite 1, Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay with the rest. Save with the best. Sherry'sTickets.com and save 10% by using the promo code ELP10. PhillySportsTrips.com. You're going to want to get over to that site. They have some great deals going right now on Phillies and on Union games in and about as well as around. And as well, you're going to be taking a look very soon at some of the Eagles deals going on. It's in the works. So get on over to PhillySportsTrips.com. If you have some legal issues, David R. Cherry Esquire and his firm, the Cherry Firm, will be happy to help you out. Workers' comp claims, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law, go to cherryinjurylaw.com or give them a call at 610-565-0300. Tell them the boys from ELP sent you, and he will hook you up. Well, guys, a lot of things on the docket here. Eduardo's with us. Eduardo got up this morning. Delayed on the article, broke 2 ribs in a car accident, but he's still here.
Thanks.
I hope you're feeling good, Eduardo. Man,
Yeah.
I know what broken ribs are, and that is just brutal. You're afraid to sneeze, cough, or breathe. So just take it easy and, take it as you can. A few extra things just to remind people of is the McDougall Celebrity Lacrosse game is coming up quickly. It is July 8th at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. It is a full day of events, and it finishes off with the Celebrity Lacrosse game at 7 o'clock. Additional details is there's a silent auction, Cameron's Brewery Beer Garden, food, 50-50, and live music. $10 is all it takes to enter. Kids under 12 or 12 and under get in for free. It is well worth your money. Not a lot of money, but a whole good time for an entire day. And all proceeds will be donated to Kids Sport Ontario. Hashtag so all kids can play. Remember, some of our guests from last year was John Tavares from the Maple Leafs. John Tavares Sr., if he's not busy, he might be there as well. Uncle John. As well, you've got Brian Shanahan. Don Cherry made an appearance. So well worth your while to come by. It's a lot of fun. As you can see in the background, it's usually got a pretty good crowd, so you want to get there a little bit early. I believe doors open for that at 5:30. So get on over to that one. $10 is not a lot of money to have that kind of entertainment. 2 weeks later is the Fan Cup, the 20th anniversary of the Fan Cup over at Track. Yours truly will be playing on the Rock Roadies, as well as a lot of other fun-loving guys and gals. Again, the motto to this thing is win or lose, we drink the booze. So right away, you know the kind of quality of lacrosse you're going to see. But it is a lot of fun, and all the money raised goes to Smile Zone. There's a Haudenosaunee charity as well as Oakville Minor Lacrosse, and they will be giving us a hand doing some of the stuff around there. I believe there's a beer garden there as well as food, and there is auctions of all kinds of great stuff. I know I've been able to pick up a number of things that are terrific, signed articles and gloves and framed pictures and framed jerseys. So you're going to want to have a look at that. If you want to have a look at the site, go on over on Facebook to Fan Cup 2023, and that should have quite a bit of information for you there. Eduardo will be done with this article by this afternoon, which is great, man. Just take your time, breathe, but not too busy, not too far. Eat around. All right, let's get down to some of the news. We lost a legend this week. Alfie Jacks, he passed away, 74. He had kidney cancer and had been battling it for some time. As Oren Lyons said, Alfie Jacks is a national treasure of the Haudenosaunee, and never a truer word has been spoken. Just a little bit of background. Legendary Onondaga Nation stick maker, handcrafted more than 80,000 wooden sticks during his lifetime. Died Tuesday after nearly a decade-long bout with kidney cancer and other ailments. He was 74. A Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Famer, Jacks played junior, senior, and professional lacrosse in the 60s and 70s. He played nearly every position in box and field, and was a goalie for the Syracuse Stingers during their one season in 1974 in the NLL. Jacks also coached and served as general manager for the Onondaga Redhawks, leading them to a President's Cup championship in 2010. Earlier this month, Jacks was honored with the 15th Spirit of the Tuorton Award. Alfie Jacks is a national treasure of the Haudenosaunee, said Chief Oren Lyons, faith keeper of the Turtle Clan and the 2015 Spirit of Tuorton honoree. His tireless dedication to his life's work has earned him the recognition and respect he justly deserves. Jacks' true legacy is that of a cultural icon who preserved centuries of lacrosse tradition in a workshop near his mother's house at the Onondaga Nation, where for 6 decades he used an axe and a mallet to break apart the shagbark hickory trees he felled from nearby forests and carving horns to sculpt them. I'm Onondaga Turtle Clan, and I'm going to do this as long as I'm able to do this, he said in a 2019 interview. It's such a part of who we are as a people. It is important as it allows us to play the medicine game the way it should be, with all wooden sticks. Jock Shop became a destination for people from all walks of lacrosse who wanted to hear his stories and feel connected to the sport's Native American roots. He took his craft on the road, conducting demonstrations at major lacrosse events like the USA Lacrosse Convention, where droves of coaches, officials, and fans flocked to his booth for a glimpse of his work. I'd been to his workshop, and guys, it was just something to behold. A real treasure that the game has lost, and a legend of the game that is not with us. And we send our deepest condolences to the Jacks family and to the Haudenosaunee people, as well as to all of lacrosse. Another bit of sad news out of BC is Don Scott passed away And from the WLA is saddened to learn of the passing of Don Scott. Don generously dedicated countless hours to lacrosse in BC as a longtime volunteer and member of the BCLA executive. Don was a kind and thoughtful gentleman, and he will be greatly missed. Our thoughts are with Don's family and friends. Again, our thoughts as well go out to the Scott family. All right, on to a little bit more upbeat news. Trevor Batiste, of course, of face-off fame and Philadelphia fame, as well as Atlas fame. I know it hurts a little bit after that game. Can't get a break. But anyways, Trevor Batiste is donating $100 for every face-off win to support lacrosse in inner cities. He won 19 face-offs in week one, and that's nothing, man. I believe he won 41 face-offs or something. He set a record this weekend with face-off wins. It was ridiculous. I think 41 or 44 or something ridiculous like that. But yeah, absolutely incredible, and what a great way to give back to the inner cities from truly a terrific man. The Firewolves are starting to make news. We haven't even hit free agent season yet, and we haven't even heard about some of their players returning. But they signed Alex Simmons, number 4 draft pick from Denver, Syracuse, also a good junior here in Ontario, and a fantastic player, and he will be a definite plus on that team. What more can be said about that, really? Glenn Clark is starting early. This coming week, this starting Wednesday, we have the World Lacrosse Tournament featuring, I believe, 30 countries. I'm actually lucky enough, I got credentialed. I will be heading there Wednesday morning for the big showdown, first day of the thing up in Snapdragon Stadium, of Canada versus the U.S. It is 10 p.m. Eastern. It'll be 7 p.m. for you folks out west, and you won't want to miss it. ESPN2, TSN, ESN Plus, ESPN Plus, and TSN Plus. So you have no excuse not to catch this game. And just a few things to remember. Canada and the U.S., their little history goes right back to the finals in 2018 in Netanya, Israel, in which, the U.S. beat Canada with mere seconds to go with a lot of controversy because shot clocks and time clocks and everything was kerfuffled, and still claims that it was after time. So this will be a little bit of a grudge match that's gone back a number of years. Haudenosaunee are in there, and remember they finished third in that. Australia, England, Japan, Israel, Germany, Scotland, Ireland, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Mexico, Peru, Korea, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Philippines, Wales, Czech Republic. Probably a lot of guys that I saw over at the Rebesky tournament. Switzerland, Italy, Latvia, Netherlands, Austria, Poland, Sweden, Denmark, France, and Uganda. And remember, Uganda is the first African team to ever qualify for this. Pretty impressive stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of lacrosse people, as well as a really good lacrosse games going on from a lot of countries that have never been there before, and just to show how great that their programs have improved and how quickly they've improved. And I've said it before, in North America, if we're not careful, just like hockey, these programs will overtake the North American programs, and it'll be playing catch up after a little bit of egg on the face. So just to remember. From Eduardo, well, rough week in lacrosse. Oh my, yes. Well, Pat isn't here, so the unbuffet. Well, as long as it's better than just popcorn and coffee, I'm doing better than some of the NLL games, man. But yeah, that being said, looking forward to it. I'll be there Wednesday morning. The festivities and games start Wednesday evening and run all the way until July 1st in the finals. United Nations is correct. Probably no truer words really spoken about that. All right, let's get on to the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame announced their 2023 inductees. Let's start off with a very familiar face of recent, Steve Dietrich, general manager of the Buffalo Bandits, who also had a very storied career with quite a few teams. To win championships, paramount to having outstanding goaltending if you want to win. Over a career of 24 seasons with the Ontario Lacrosse Association, he was always a major factor in his team's success. He was a clutch goaltender, winning 11 championships as a player at the highest level of lacrosse. Tracy Kostiuk, head coach of the Panther City team. And of course, he had a long, storied career. Dating all the way back, his junior A career was among the top scorers in the league, placing in the top three scores, 94, 95, and 96. Beyond his scoring prowess, Tracy was a recipient of the OLA Junior A League's top defensive player in 96. In senior lacrosse, Tracy continued his success as a goal scorer, making significant contributions to the Peterborough Lakers, winning 4 Mann Cup championships, 2006, 7, 10, and 12. He played 5 seasons of senior lacrosse in the Western Lacrosse Association, 99 with North Shore, 2002 to 2005 with Coquitlam. He was a first-team All-Star in 2003, second-team All-Star 2004, and was in the WLA top 10 scorers in both 2003 and 2004. High achiever in the National Lacrosse League, playing from 2001 to 14 for Calgary, Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Columbus, and was a member of 2 NLL championship teams. During his NLL career, Tracy was Rookie of the Year and a second-team All-Star in 2001, first-team All-Star in 2002, NLL Most Valuable Player, and first-team All-Star 2003, member of the NLL's Champions Cup team for Calgary, and first-team All-Star in 2004, NLL All-Star Game MVP in 2005, NLL Champions Cup in Calgary 2006, and spent the recipient of the NLL Sportsmanship Award in 2009. He was also inducted in the National Lacrosse League Hall of Fame in 2016. Whew, it's almost time for a turf monster. Whipper Bob Watson. What can be said about the Whipper? Bob Whipper Watson was considered one of the very best goalies of his era and was known for his stellar play and clutch goaltending. Winning 9 championships over a lengthy and successful career, Bob played with and against some of the greatest players in the history of the game. He had individual success, winning awards for his consistently reliable play, and was known for mentoring teammates who admired his cool and calm nature and considered him a humble superstar. Watson played 15 seasons in the NLL, winning 6 NLL championships with the Toronto Rock, 99, 2000, 2002, 2003, 2005, and 2011, and went out a winner, retiring after the 2011 season. In 2003 and 11, he was voted the most valuable player in the Champions Cup. In 2001 and 2008 was selected as the NLL Goalie of the Year. In 2011, Bob was inducted into the National Lacrosse League Hall of Fame, Guelph Sports Hall of Fame in 2014, and Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame in 2021. William Hutton. With a dedicated direct involvement totaling more than 5 decades in lacrosse, many lacrosse insiders consider Bill Hutton as the most influential president to ever lead the Canadian Lacrosse Association, now Lacrosse Canada. Bill Hutton served in various roles at the local, provincial, national, international levels as a coach, tournament convener, Ontario Minor Lacrosse president, Ontario Lacrosse Association president, and Canadian Lacrosse Association chairperson, now Lacrosse Canada. In addition, he has been the chair of the Canadian Lacrosse Foundation. Included among his major accomplishments was leading amalgamation of the Ontario Minor Lacrosse Association and the Ontario Lacrosse Association, which led to greater efficiencies for the sport. Bill Hutton also chaired the 1986 World Field Lacrosse Championships when the government and other entities had turned their backs on the project. He restructured the Canadian Lacrosse Association at a time when a stellar leadership was required. Bill was a key force in getting lacrosse recognized as Canada's national summer sport with the implementation of Bill C-212, which recognized lacrosse as Canada's national summer sport in 1994. Larry Lloyd. Playing in an era where players played both ends of the floor, Larry Lloyd had a career as a high-skilled offensive player. His total points combining his junior, senior, and professional careers are an astounding 525 goals scored, 515 assists for a grand total of 1,040 points in 307 games. His offensive prowess made him a true sniper. He had seasons where he scored 59, 68, 71, 80, and 82 goals. Larry also contributed to his team's offense as a setup player, having seasons where he notched 46, 48, 53, 76, and 91 assists. Larry played 4 seasons of OLA Junior A with the legendary Oshawa Green Gales of the 1960s. He was on winning Minto Cup teams in 65, 67, 68, and 69. Larry scored 212 goals and 168 assists for a total of 380 points in 91 combined regular season and playoff games. He played 2 seasons of senior lacrosse for the Brooklyn Redmen and 1 season for the Windsor Warlocks. In those 3 seasons, Larry scored 206 goals at 149 assists for a total of 355 points in 100 games. Larry was also a prolific player in the National Lacrosse League in the 1970s with the Philadelphia Wings. Over 2 seasons, he played a total of 96 games, scoring 173 goals, 179 assists for 352 points. Was selected for the first All-Star team in 74 and second All-Star team in 75. During his illustrious career, Larry played with and against many of the greatest players in the history of the game, where he more than competed and excelled. Larry Lloyd was inducted into the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame in 2015 and the Oshawa Sports Hall of Fame in 2023. Whew, wow, that was congratulations to all those guys. The ceremony will be in the fall. If you're anywhere near it, these things are terrific to go to, and a who's who of lacrosse will be there for the inductions. And now that we're long past COVID, you're going to see a lot more people at these things. Thank God. Thank God. Have you guys noticed that we now treat COVID like we did with BC and AD? Well, that was done in the pre-COVID era.
Yeah.
That's done in the post-COVID era.
Seems like it.
We've gone and made it into that now, have we?
Jeez.
This thing has morphed to anything and everything. Well, yes, he scored goals in the pre-COVID era. Pretty amazing. All right, let's head on to junior. We've got the OJLL. And this week we had another busy week. We had the Burlington Blaze beating Peterborough 7-5. Mimico beating Six Nations 15-6. Kitchener beat Oakville beat Kitchener 11-10 in a knuckle dusting wonder. Brampton beat Whitby 7-5. We're over to the 14th, where Whitby beat St. Catharines 10-5. Orangeville, still undefeated, beat Burlington 12-7. And Kitchener lost yet again to the Toronto Beaches 19-5. On the 16th, Brampton just squeaked by Peterborough 13-12. It was 18-8 for Burlington over Kitchener. Northman again, beating on Whitby 11-6. On the 17th, I do have these scores. We have Toronto Beaches that beat Six Nations 9-7. Oakville slid by Mimico 10-9. So we have a couple of games on the docket today, and that would be St. Catharines facing Burlington, Brampton facing Six Nations, Toronto facing Orangeville, and Kitchener facing Mimico. For more information, you can go to the OntarioJournalLacrosse.com site. But for up-to-date standings, we have Orangeville still undefeated at 11-0. Nick Rose is looking like a fantastic GM, isn't he? Oakville sitting in second at 9-4. Burlington 7-4. Mimico 6-4. The Beaches at 6-6. The Warriors at 6-6. St. Catharines is coming up close at 5-6. The Excelsiors are making a push now, 4-6. Six Nations at 3-6. Peterborough and Kitchener coming up the rear, 2-8 and 1-10 respectively. We have some Western stuff, Shawn.
Yeah, I'll move on to the BC Junior A. Let's get a stats up here. So yeah, on the 13th, we had New Westminster. They downed Langley 12-5, kind of a bottom feeder game there. When we get to the standings. Then on Thursday, we saw Langley defeat the Burnaby Lakers 11-9. And then Friday night, we had 11-9 game as well. The Adnax downing the Delta Islanders. On Friday, late comeback by Burnaby just kind of wasn't enough as they lost 11-10 to the Port Coquitlam Saints. Then yesterday on Saturday, we saw the Victoria Shamrocks. They had a 11-9 win over New Westminster. Then a bit of a thriller against the Timbermen and the Langley Thunder. Nanaimo won this game 10-9 in overtime. Langley was able to kind of tie it up with 2 goals kind of late in the third period. And then Andrew Bowman scored the game winner in overtime in that one. Then we round out the week with the Delta Islanders. They downed the Port Coquitlam Saints 16-8. So, and we do have one game this afternoon. New Westminster is against Nanaimo. That's a 3:30 local time start. So I think that's probably around 6:30 your guys' time.
Mm-hmm.
And so look at look at the standings here. The Addax are sitting up in first place still, the 13-2 record. Victoria is in second at 10-5. Third and fourth, we got a tie between Nanaimo at 8-6 and the Port Coquitlam Saints at 8-6 as well. You got Burnaby at 6-9, and then kind of a logjam down for 6th, 7th, and 8th. New Westminster's at 4-8. Langley's at 4-10, and then the Delta Islanders are also at 4-11.
Congratulations, Herbie John, man. My son just made his junior A debut with the Coquitlam Addax on Friday night. Proud, very proud, I would say. That is fantastic news. Please keep us up to date with all of his achievements, and we will be happy to help you out in that. That's awesome news. And thank you for following us and listening to us. Wow, that's an awful lot of lacrosse, man. All right, let's head on over to the Ontario Series Lacrosse and a little bit of Senior B. On June 12th, Ennismore James Gang lost to the Oakville Juggernaut Rock 17-4. That Juggernaut team went and crushed the Crushers the next on June 16th, 25-5. So if you're looking for some football scores, you want to check out the Oakville Rock over track or on road because they're not just beating them. They're beating them and taking them across town and beating them again. Unbelievable. This team is stacked and ready and raring to win a President's Cup. And, oh, by the way, it's in Oakville this year. Merely a coincidence, I am sure. Ennismore and Brooklyn got together, and Brooklyn beat the Ennismore James Gang 9-5. On the Saturday night, I do have these scores also. I wasn't able to get them up, but of course, we can figure them out. Give me 1 second, guys. So we had the Owen Sound against Six Nations, in which Six Nations beat Owen Sound 11-5. We have one on the docket that I don't have a score for, and that is Brooklyn against Clearview. But we shall try. And today, of course, Six Nations plays Oakville. Good luck to Six Nations today. If you're in Oakville, that game is at track this evening. So you might want to come over there. It is a good time. It is a good product. And you're going to see an awful lot of NLLers on both sides. So you should have a pretty good game. Looking at the OSL standings, Six Nations at 6-1 with Oakville, who's made a big push. 6-1-1 for Six Nations. Just slightly ahead of the Rock. However, the winning percentages has Oakville ahead. Brooklyn, 6-4. Owen Sound, 5-3 with a tie. And Clearview and Ennismore are both sitting at 1-8. And that covers OSL for this week. Interesting, because Oakville... Is it for the love? Well, it's for the love of the championship, I think. But, remember that the Oakville Rock is sitting out of MSL this year. So with all those players available, they went on over to the Oakville Rock of Ontario Series Lacrosse. So we will see what's going on because just like in MSL with Six Nations, the amount of players that are non-rostered right now for Six Nations could probably win a Manning Cup in most years. So that's a pretty scary team over there as well. Before we go to MSL, though, I'd like to jump over to WLA, guys. And let's have a gander at some of the goings on over there. We can pick up from last Sunday. We were off the air when this game completed between the Lakers and Berards.
Oh, that's probably me, huh?
Yeah, it was you, Mike.
Mike, welcome to the
Of course,
show.
I forget about the Sunday night games. Give me 1 sec.
No worries at all.
Let me punch it
Mike's
up
been
here.
so enamored listening to me ramble on, and then
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, it's my turn. we don't want to leave you out, Mike. Well,
All right, just
I
punching
can't
it
go on
up
to
here.
tell you that.
So yeah, but Burnaby gets their first win of the season, so they got out of the basement, beating Maple Ridge 14-8. Big game from Connor Watson, 3 goals, 2 assists. And Burnaby's goalie, Keegan Milenichuk, 35 saves, only allowed 8 goals, 1 second star honors. Berards struggled a bit on offense. Looked like they had 8 different scorers, with Ryan Jones unable to get on the board and find the back of the net. But Burnaby does finally get off the schneid, so now, as we'll see, Coquitlam is the only winless team in WLA at the moment. So,
Alrighty. And we'll move ourselves on. And it brings us over to the Wednesday night game, which is the Langley Thunder against the Coquitlam Adanacs in a low-scoring affair.
Yeah, no, both goaltenders played well in this one. Obviously, Frank Chiliano took first star, only allowing 4 goals and having 39 saves. Yeah, I mean, it was, other than that, Adanacs taking an early lead on this one, it was kind of all Thunder after that. Brett Draper scored the first goal of the game, and then after that was a 3-goal run by Langley with Dane Doby, Nathan Bell, and Keegan Bell going on a 3-goal run, and after that it was basically all Thunder. They led from start to finish after that. Robert Church, 2 goals, 3 assists. Just let me throw up some of the other stats here.
Well, while we're doing that, just Mike, do you think as a question, do we think that Langley should maybe have bigger scores with the team that's stacked the way it is?
you would think so, but
because they didn't lose anybody from last year's run.
A win is a win, though. So
very true, very true. But 9-4, I would expect something like 15-4. Honestly,
I mean, as you look at that next score sheet, they had 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, each goal is a different goal scorer. They didn't really get much. I'd probably have to give Andrew Gallant some credit and goal for the Adanacs in this one for even just keeping
close.
Yeah, at least keeping it somewhat close.
Well, yeah. Well, looking at the Adanacs, they are rebuilding, because you don't have really many big name players there. But again, I come back to with the Adanacs, with the Thunder, they do, and Oakville's got the big gun going there, and they're going and blazing. I would expect that Langley, unless they're just ramping up to a long summer of lacrosse, that they should be, if they're planning on contending for the Mann Cup this year and want to play it in Langley, it's time to go full tilt boogie and not try and ramp it up in the last part of the season. Just my own thought on that. Moving on, we had the New West Salmon Bellies going against the Timbermen, and I can't go what's wrong with the Bellies, eh?
No,
anymore.
You can't.
The 1 year, that's it. And they won 13.
Yeah, 13-8. And surprisingly, Nanaimo shot the Salmon Bellies 57-46. So a huge game for Neil Tyak, which I know we were talking off the air and why maybe NHL teams aren't looking at this kid.
Well,
But yeah,
maybe like Devlin Shanahan last year, and all of a sudden he's going to be the cast me out this year in the NLL somewhere. Because
well,
God
that's
knows
the thing.
he made it. Wouldn't Vancouver be great to take a look and hey?
Yeah, you would think. But the other thing too is they had Kayak last year too, and we were saying what's wrong with the sound abilities as well. So maybe it's just that sample size, right? And seeing how
True.
much of he can
Or he
string
matured
together.
over the year.
Yeah.
But Kevin Crowley doing Kevin Crowley-esque things, which is great to see because it means there's still more life in him for NLL time too.
Yeah.
And Mitch Jones with a goal and 7 assists. Again, for people in Philadelphia, this is good news because for that team to be viable once they get Rambo and have Resetaris and all these guys back, Mitch Jones is going to have to be more of the quarterback to make it all work. He can't be just a goal scorer because there is only one ball. So to see him being the quarterback throughout the summer and getting that rule down pat, I think is a great thing for Wings fans to see personally.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's going to be a big key to the Wings next year. Just kind of other notes, Zach Mans continues to prove that he was a key acquisition for the Timbermen this offseason. He had 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points, as well as John Phelps with the hat trick for Nanaimo in this game. So even though it's a loss, again, there's some good pieces there for Nanaimo as well moving forward.
Definitely. And again, teams that are on the rebuild that are starting to really make some noise, and it's really great to see. Moving on, we had the Burrards going against the Shamrocks in one of those very, very strange ties.
Yes, a very crazy game. A real back and forth game too. And because the Broads really jumped out to 2-0 lead. Shamrocks come right back with a 3-goal run, including 2 power play goals. So special teams really played a role in this game as well. Broads tied it up. Goal from Mitchell Nolet. Marshall King, who had another huge game for Victoria. 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points in the night. Long story short, we get down to the third period. Victoria goes on a 2-goal run from Cole Pickup and Tim Bison, making it 10-8. And then late 2-goal run by the Burrards with Dylan McIntosh and Connor White to tie it up late in the game. And then, overtime solved nothing. So that's that 10-10 tie.
Good morning, Grant. And happy 40th birthday to Grant as well.
Yes.
I believe you've seen him recently, have you, Shawn?
Yep, that's my older brother. So that's why I'm in Alberta right now, is to celebrate his 40th birthday.
Part of that world tour that Shawn's doing piece by piece.
Yep.
It's going to take him a number of shows, but he's going to get to a neighborhood near you.
I'm trying.
He's handing out Muffler Mike fan club buttons. Don't you All right, moving right along. That brings us over to the Thunder against the Lakers, and the Thunder got a lot more output in this game.
Yeah, a lot more. 16-13. They topped Burnaby. Dane Doby and Curtis Dixon combining for 17 points on the night. So more than enough to overcome the WLA's leading goal scorer, Jacob Dunbar, who had another great game for Burnaby with 4 goals. Torrin Eccleston had 2 goals, 6 assists for Burnaby. But again, Doby with 7 and 2, Dixon with 4 and 4, Frank Chiliano, 28 saves in the win, and Langley stays atop the WLA standings.
Awesome. And moving on to the next night, the next game, I'm sorry. Peter's doing weird stuff on it.
You got New West and Coquitlam?
That is what I have.
Okay, well, New
Again,
West saw
what's wrong
New
with New
West.
West? Nothing's wrong with
No,
New West.
nothing's wrong with New West. They saw what Langley did and said we got to keep pace. So they win 11-8. They're tied atop the standings with Langley at 5-1 each. Hancock Quitlam, their 6th straight loss to start the season. So the Adnacks are still looking for a win. Going to get tougher and tougher to come by. They're already a third of the way through the season here. So, and the impressive thing for me with the Salmon Bellies is, they win this game pretty handily without Mitch Jones and Kevin Crowley in the lineup.
Mhm.
So they got 4 goals and 2 assists from Hayden Dixon, 2 and 3 from Ryan Martell. We've talked about him before, another big pickup in the offseason for them. That's paying dividends. Noah Armitage, a hat trick and 2 assists. And as we mentioned before, Neil Tyak, 33 saves. He's now 4-0 in his starts for New West. So,
Alrighty, that brings us over to the Shamrocks again with 10 goals, but this time beating on the Timbermen, who only had 9.
Yeah, I should just watch this game. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, they're going to overtime again. Are we doing this all over again with Victoria? What is going
writing
on?
about ties all weekend.
Yeah. No, it was actually a crazy game of just kind of huge momentum swings. After Timberman go up 1-0, you saw a 4-goal run from Victoria. Then Nanaimo comes back with their own 4-goal run, and it's just kind of back and forth like that between runs. Yeah, another big game from Tom Bison, 2 goals and 3 assists for the first star. Cameron Dunkerley got the start for Victoria again. And yeah, again, Victoria got outshot 60-49, and Dunkerley made 51 saves for the win, which has got to be great news for New York, looking over and seeing how well he's playing this summer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But another big showing from Zach Mans again, 4 goals and an assist.
Yeah. I
For
mean,
the
again,
Timbermen.
and Taggart Clark with the hat trick as well. So again, there's the pieces there. Maybe they're looking for a little bit more secondary scoring to kind of get over that hump. But yeah, again, the usual suspects for Victoria, Marshall King with the hat trick. You saw Pickup and Jacob Rouet with 3 points each as well in this one.
You think Taggart Clark is ready for his foray into the National Lacrosse League now?
I feel like, yeah, you've seen enough of him. I mean, he had a great season last year as well in summer ball. So I think you have to think that some NLL teams have to be looking at.
I think it's inevitable, right? I know he got drafted last year, but it's will he crack a lineup? It looks like the way he's playing in WLA with a lot of NLL talent that he's playing against and with, that he fits in rather nicely. So something to watch, I think, come the fall and into the training camps down the road a little bit. But I think that's going to be a name that we hear quite a bit of in the next little bit.
Well, that's the interesting thing, especially this year so far in the WL. We've seen a lot of kind of, I don't want to say unknowns, but names that aren't household names kind of showing up on these score sheets. And we're thinking, well, maybe it's a time for NLL guys to look at this, especially goaltending. We've talked about Brandon Humphrey and the great year he's had so far. Tyak in goal as well. Taggart Clark. And some of these guys who maybe have been drafted or having a hard time cracking the lineup or just haven't even been looked at by the NLL. Maybe it's a time to start looking at these guys.
Right. Very good.
Yeah.
And we have one
look
game
at them because they're out west too. We always talk about that Slate Western bias or Western bias. Start looking at some BC guys.
Well, especially we're talking goaltender in Vancouver.
Too. So,
like Jerry said, we're talking about goaltending in Vancouver. I mean, you got guys right in your own front door.
Yeah. Absolutely. It makes no sense to me, but there's all kinds of talent there that Vancouver should be exploiting, kind of like Toronto and Buffalo and Rochester have done with the Ontario Lacrosse Association. So there's no reason why Vancouver shouldn't be just feasting on what's out there and close to home for most of these guys too, right?
Yep.
So, like I said, we have one game this evening, and that is the Timbermen against the Burrards. Before we head into next week's games, and if next week is a busy week as well. You have the Thunder against the Adanacs, Burrards against the Thunder on the Wednesday night, so back to back for Langley. On Thursday, you have the Lakers going against the Salmon Bellies, and they're going back to back because on Friday they face the Shamrocks. Shamrocks go back to back, facing the Lakers on Saturday, and the Lakers go back to back facing the Timbermen on Sunday. Schedule makers having fun here. And of course, we have a second game on the Sunday night. We have the Coquitlam Adanacs against the Burrards as the later game on Sunday the 25th. So a busy week coming up in WLA, guys.
Yeah, before you know
Alrighty.
it, we'll be at the halfway point of the season. So
Yeah.
We had an interesting week in Major Series lacrosse. First of all, we had the Sean Evans saga come to a conclusion. That was that Peterborough traded his rights to Akasosny of Senior B. Now, from the way it has been explained to me, is he can't just go and sign with Six Nations and come back to MSL. His rights have been kept by Peterborough in Major Series, but they have banished him, if you will, to Akwesasne to the Bucks. He has been bucked to the Bucks for the time being. And, I got to give Sean credit. He did take the high road with his thanking the fans and thanking the organization for 20 great years and a number of Man Cups and everything else. And he did allude to this could have been handled quite a bit differently. And I agree. And I brought that up last week, is that these two parties needed to sit down together and figure it all out. I do realize legal ramifications and all that, but there had to be a way that they could do this without getting rid of him. Because remember, getting rid of him, the Evans family in its own right is such a huge part of Peterborough lacrosse that has to be a distraction as well as a hampering to the organization itself. That being said, our first game of the week, we went over, if I can just get to it. We were Peterborough and Six Nations on the 13th. And this was more of a, to get rid of the distractions. Six Nations, in a low-scoring event with the number 1 and 2 teams of the league, beat Peterborough 8-5. And again, Lyle Thompson had a lot to do with this one, and so did Austin Stotts. Peterborough got on the board first with Thomas Hogarth converting a Holden Catoni pass. Lyle Thompson then converted an Austin Stotts pass, and it was on the power play. It was 1-1. Austin Hazen gave Peterborough the lead. Austin Stotts came back, and it was 2-2 after 1. Into the second period, Brendan Bombury took the lead for the Chiefs, with Thomas Hogarth then tying it up a couple of minutes later. Tate Catoni converted a Thomas Whitty pass, and Peterborough was in front again. 3 quick goals by the Chiefs, by Thompson, Randy Stotts, and then Austin Stotts on the power play. And we had a Chiefs lead of 6-4 going into the third. A defensive struggle in the third period had Turner Evans bring it within 1 goal 8 minutes or 7 minutes into the period on the power play. But Austin Stotts and Randy Stotts, a couple of minutes after that, back-to-back, and this game was over, and it was 8-5 for the Chiefs, keeping them in first place. The next night, we had Brampton head over to Brooklyn. Now, remember, Brampton just surprised Peterborough in their last outing the previous Thursday, beating them 14-13. And, defensively, Brampton looks fantastic. They didn't win. They lost with 2 seconds left in the game. Brooklyn scored and won 7-6. A low-scoring game all the way through. Both goalies played fantastic. Shots on goal were 46-42 in favor of Brooklyn. So Lucas Nagy and Nick DeMood both had spectacular games and were a big reason why this game went down to the last seconds. A game of runs, this proved it. Corson Keeley and Liam Osborne opened the scoring for Brooklyn. Then followed by Robert Hudson and Josh Medeiros shorthanded for Brampton to tie it up. Connor Kieran got Brooklyn back on the board with a power play goal. Curtis Goddard with a shorthanded goal got Brampton tied up again. Heading into the second, Brampton exploded for 3 goals, shutting out the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Ferreira, Carter Zavitz, and Henry Follows. And it looked like Brampton was putting this game into the win column. An equally tough third period, which had Connor Kiernan on the power play, followed by Brady Kiernan on the power play, and then Zach Kerrigan with the game tying goal with 46 seconds left. Connor Kiernan is the hero. This one in overtime, 7-6, scoring the game-winning goal. 3 minutes and change into the overtime period. This was Connor's first game back with Brooklyn, and 3 goals, 2 assists. Quite the showing. Hell of a game, though, guys. Like, anybody who's going to sleep on Brampton, this team's getting better and better every time out. And their big test, in my eyes, was they faced the Six Nation Chiefs the very next night in Brampton. And, well, we had a 7-6 score again. They held the juggernaut Six Nation Chiefs to 7 goals. And this was a game I was thinking with Sam LeClaire scoring with 2 seconds left to win the game. Did Brampton play a great game? They did. You're talking about a 6-1 Chiefs team against a 1-5 Brampton team. But this is not indicative of the play that's been going on. The Luke Van Scheppen opened up the scoring for Brampton, followed by Cody Jamieson. For some reason, my computer's doing weird stuff. Followed by Cody Jamieson on the power play, tying it up. Tyson Bell then in transition off a Kevin Hill pass gave them the lead again at 15 minutes into the first, with Seth Van Scheppen and Jonathan Gagliardi scoring both on the power play to let Brampton ahead 3-2 at the intermission. Brampton increased their lead to 5-2. Steve Portelli and Carter Zavitz scored the first 2 goals of the second period, and then a 3-goal eruption from Six Nations with Austin Stotts, Lyle Thompson, and then Austin Stotts again on the power play brought this to a 5-5 game going into the third. Lucas Ferreira got a goal 6 minutes in, and at the 10-minute mark, or the 15-minute mark, Larson Sundown on the power play tied the game up. This game looked like it was destined for another overtime game for Brampton, but again, on a beauty pass from Lyle Thompson over to Sam LeClaire, and LeClaire is your hero, scoring with 2 seconds left to give Six Nations the win 7-6. That same evening, Peterborough was playing Coburg. And unfortunately, it wasn't as close. It was very close, though. And it came down to a third period flourish again from the Lakers. Because this game, throughout, was 3-3 after 1. Shots on goal was 16-16 after 1. It was 6-5 after 2 for Coburg, and the shots on goal were 31-30 in favor of Peterborough. Almost dead even. The third period, Peterborough erupted, and with thanks to the goaltending over in Brooklyn, the shots on goal were an astounding 41-14 in the third period. 41-14. Yet the goals, it was 5-2 in favor of Peterborough. 41-14. That's astounding. So the final shot total was 72-44. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Talk about seeing a lot of rubber. You know, Jackson Brown must be shell-shocked still. You know, making 62 of 72 saves for the loss. Landon Kells had a great game. He made 36 saves out of 44 shots, only giving up 8. But again, Peterborough waiting till the very last seconds to get into the win column in this one. And it took a hell of a third period to do it. On the docket tonight, you have Brampton playing, and they are facing the Peterborough Lakers over at Memorial Arena. Game time is 8 p.m. if you're in the Brampton area. Give them a look. Brampton has been playing super defense. Peterborough has been struggling on offense. So this should be a heck of a game. And if Brampton can right the ship offensively, this should be one hell of a game, really. Upcoming this week in MSL is a busy week for MSL, folks. Brooklyn faces Six Nations over on Tuesday. Wednesday, you have Coburg heading over to Whitby to face the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Thursday, you have a pair of games with Coburg facing Brampton at the Memorial Arena and Six Nations facing Peterborough over in the Memorial Center in Peterborough. And on Sunday night, Brampton travels over to Coburg, and you have them facing off in action at the Coburg Community Center. The standings up to this point has Six Nations in first place at 6-1. Peterborough is coming up the rear, second, 4-2. Brooklyn is at 2-2. Coburg is at 1-4, and the Excelsiors are at 1-5. The Chiefs are an astounding goal differential of plus 27. And that's after a rough week this week against Brampton. And they're still at a plus 27. The closest to them is Peterborough at a plus 9. After that, the teams are in the minus. Brampton's at a minus 24. Kodiaks are at a minus 3. And Brooklyn is a minus 9 goal differential. So, yeah, Six Nations is far and away the best going right now. But still, quite the games. We head on over now to our stuff. Oh, just before we go ahead, I want to play this one, and that's Lyle Thompson explaining his decision not to play PLL, but to stick around with the Chiefs of MSL. And quite a bit of clarity in this. It's a couple of minutes, but it's well worth the listen. Let's give a listen to it.
Everybody, so going to talk about my decision to take the year off of the PLL. You know, I haven't addressed it since the league has made that announcement, and I know a lot of people have had some questions. So I just want to add some depth to the statement, but also touch on summer box lacrosse, because the last thing I want is for it to look like I'm picking one league over the other just because I'm playing senior A lacrosse here in Six Nations. It's not a competition for me. My decision had very little to do with the game of lacrosse. I'll play the game as long as I have love for it, whether it's internationally, professionally, summer ball, backyard, medicine game, and even coaching. I'll keep a stick in my hands because the game does so much good for me, mentally and physically. So I can't just walk away from that. You know, yes, I'm taking the year off of the PLL, but it doesn't feel like I'm walking away from anything internally. And if anything, it feels like I'm walking toward what's necessary for myself. You know, like I said in my statement, my main focus is my family, my community, and myself. And lacrosse takes part in it, but with everything I do now, it's aligned with that. And I now understand that those things get hard to manage, hard to balance. And it takes checking in with yourself and making sure you're still feeding those fires and caring for the things that are important to you. Because for a long time, you know, lacrosse felt like my one and only purpose. It was my number one priority, and a lot of times it came before my kids, which I don't want that to be the case. You know, it took recognizing the dysfunction in that and realizing that I didn't have balance there. So I guess that's what I'm doing now, is checking in and making sure I have that balance, making sure everything I do is aligned with my priorities. Like I said, for so long, lacrosse felt like my purpose in life. And I now understand that purpose isn't static. It's dynamic. You can have more than one. It can change. Like being a parent, anyone who's a parent can understand the sense of purpose it takes to raise a kid. And you'll never regret spending more time with your kids, with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, because they give you that energy. So a lot of that needs no explanation, but I guess I'm just saying that's where I'm at. I have my family. I'm still able to do what I love, and I have my priorities straight. And for the most part, that's all I'll say. That's all I want to say. Didn't mean to go on a 3-minute rant, but I appreciate everyone who has reached out and sent me a note.
Can't get any more succinct than that now, can you?
Nope.
Family comes first, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for him just to be close to home and play a few games with Six Nations a couple of nights a week is no big deal either. So
Right.
no diss to anybody. And Lyle, you do whatever it takes to keep you going, because we appreciate everything you've done and are doing for the game, both on and off the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that being said, we head on over to the PLL, and we had a couple of real barn burner games, man. And it looked like everything was going to be a 1-goal game again. Talk about, oh God, my goodness. The parity in these leagues are just incredible. And it doesn't seem to matter what the worst against the first in MSL or WLA. It doesn't matter in the PLL. Everybody seems to get up for everybody. And Atlas facing the Water Dogs, it looked like Atlas was going to run away with this game. Atlas jumped out to a 6-0 lead just seconds into the second quarter. They chased Dylan Ward from the Water Dogs net. In come Matt DeLuca. Connor Kelly, what a game he had for the Water Dogs. He put him on the back with a memorable second half. He wound up with 3 2-point goals, 3 1-point goals for 9 points on the night. And with less than a minute, a 2-point goal from Kelly, followed by a single with 10 seconds left to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And the Water Dogs take one away from my Atlas. My poor Atlas. By the way, Atlas did another silly thing, is they released Clark Peterson. Maybe they should take a look at some of the stats from maybe Cornell, from Teat and Peterson playing together. Maybe they should take a look at some of the junior stats in Brampton from Teat and Peterson playing together. Maybe they could even look at the MSL stats in the 1 year that Teat and Peterson played together for the Bug Juice Excelsiors. And, maybe they would come to a different conclusion, because to me, that doesn't make much sense. Yes, Grant. Absolutely. To get into the game itself, Mark O'Rourke opened the scoring for Atlas, converting a Jeff Teat feed at 2:20, followed by Brian Kostiuk with a blast at 4:37. Chris Gray added to the Atlas lead with a great individual effort at 6:14, followed by Eric Law finishing off a Brian Kostiuk feed in close at 9:46, and we were at 4-0. Chris Gray continued the Atlas onslaught, and he finished off a Xavier Dixon pass 14 seconds later, 5-0 at the end of the first quarter. Atlas continued to roll with Danny Logan converting an Eric Law pass, which chased Dylan Ward from the net for Matt DeLuca. Zach Courier finally got the Water Dogs on the board, firing a shot past Jack and Cannon, but it was answered by a 2-point goal from Chris Gray, who was able to convert a Jeff Teat feed. It's amazing the sight that Jeff Teat has. Doesn't matter if it's box or field. I had Bryce Tolmie on the other show last Thursday, who was playing defense for the Riptide for a good chunk of the year. And we talked about even in practice, when my assignment is Jeff Teat, that's not much fun at all. Because you can imagine the reverse scouting report would be, he's going to score. It's about limiting how much he's going to score on you. Because there were goals even in preseason where they couldn't even cheer because their jaws were just on what he just did. So, and we're seeing the same thing in the PLL. The vision and the passing, let alone his shooting, is so far and above most everybody else that as a complete package, it's just insane. Anyways, Michael Sauer scored off a Jeff Connor pass at 5:49, followed by Jake Caraway converting a courier feed at 6:16. Xander Dixon scored off a give and go with Jeff Teat, beating DeLuca with a shovel shot at 9:11. The Dogs made a push before halftime, scoring twice. Connor Kelly fired a laser at 10:09, followed by Kieran McArdle scoring with just 3 seconds left in the half. And we had ourselves a game. It was 9-5 for Atlas at the half. Here comes the second half. Jeff Teat opened the scoring just 17 seconds into the quarter, followed by Brian Kostiuk with a second of the game 12 seconds later. And Xander Dixon converted a Jeff Teat feed, and it was 12-5. And you really thought that Atlas had this thing well in hand. You would be wrong. I know I was. God. Ethan Walker scored and was promptly answered by Eric Law. The Water Dogs mounted a comeback with Kieran McArdle, Charlie Hayes, but one back from Peter Dirth. Connor Kelly brought the game within 3 goals with a 2-point blast, but a power play goal from Romar Dennis, and what a blast it was. That was a 105-mile-an-hour shot. Gave them a bit more breathing room. Connor Kelly scored again for the Dogs with 1:13 left in the third, and again was answered by Chris Gray. So 15-11 for Atlas going into the fourth, and I'm still saying, you're thinking, they have this one. Atlas, put that in the win column. Yep, I'd be wrong. Connor Kelly, that's your answer. Just about any trivia question is going to come up in the fourth. Connor Kelly, that's your answer. He continued his hot hand. He had another 2-point blast to the top corner, open up the fourth quarter just a minute in, followed by Jeff Connor scoring with 3 seconds left on the shot clock to bring the game within 1 goal. Huge save from Kincannon, stopping Michael Sowers, who would have tied the game. And in return, Atlas came down and Eric Law scored off a Xander Dixon pass at 4:59, followed directly by Trevor Baptiste, scoring directly from the faceoff 8 seconds later. What a turn of events. Not a tie game, and now Atlas had a 3-goal lead again. We head to the final part of this. Matt Witcher came down in transition for the Dogs, followed by Ethan Walker scoring late in the shot clock off a Zach Courier feed. Romar Dennis unleashed another laser from inside the arc at 10:06 to give Atlas a 2-goal lead again. Connor Kelly scored his third 2-point goal of the game with an absolute howitzer with just 58 seconds left to tie the game. And Kelly continued his heroics in transition with just 10 seconds left, giving it over to Matt Cavanaugh, I believe it was, for the win. Incredible game, guys. This thing had absolutely everything. Everything. Just to show which goal did I have of it? I don't think I have any. Constable. I got that is goal. And a good chunk of them were like this. These are just nasty goals. But moving on, we go to the late game that night, and it was the Cannons against Chrome. And since I got that completely backwards last week, Cannons and Chrome and Cannons, I'll probably do that again in this game. But man, I'm telling you, the absolutely crazy. You know, like 14-13 was the score. And let me just pull this game up. But again, the game flow, you're talking about the Cannons jumping out to a 5-1 lead and Chrome coming back to make it 5-4 at the end of the first. Absolute even quarters from then on. 3 goals apiece in the second, 4 goals apiece in the third, 2 goals apiece in the fourth, and the Cannons come away with a 14-13 lead. If only it were that easy, eh, guys? Marcus Holman. That guy's just a wrecking crew. Him and Asher Nolting are absolutely amazing. And I'll give you a little look at the Nolting goal.
Taking my time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the streets. It's the
any angle to this shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's one thing when these things are set up, but man, there wasn't an angle to the shot.
There's no way it should have went in. No way.
No. I just sit there and go, what? No. And this was all game long. This just went continually. They came up huge for this win. As I had written before, the Cannons got off to a lightning quick start, get out to a 5-1 lead. Chrome kept fighting to bring the game within one goal in each quarter. Yeah, early in the fourth, Chrome took their first lead of the night in a goal by Mike Messenger, who had 3 on the night. But the Cannons fought back with a goal from Asher Nolting and the game winner, from Matt Kavanaugh. But I get everything backwards, guys. Too many names, too many events to go to. Cannons win this thing 14-13. Pretty amazing game all around. Both Cannons and Chrome look great. And the Cannons, without Lyle Thompson, I actually honestly think that they're more dangerous because they're not relying on any one person to do anything in this game. And the fourth quarter that I watched was such a defensive gem. Yeah, Mike Messenger opened up it with a minute 20 into the thing, followed by Jackson Morrell giving the Chrome their first lead. But after that, there was such back and forth action going on with both goalies, just absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, you're talking about the Kavanaugh goal at the very end, which was just ridiculous. None of these things are cheapies. So there you have it. The Cannons get their first win of the year, and we move onward. Our next game is the Archers in Chaos, and, well, the Buffalo Bandit Chaos find a way to pull out a 15-10 win. Boy, they look good, don't they? It's like they haven't missed a beat. There is no hangover. It's this hangover that they'd be a little slow and sluggish to come back. The guys who played in the tournament, in the NLL Champions Cup, they're more primed and ready than the others. Look at the game Josh Byrne had. Just incredible.
Yeah, 5 goals, 2 assists. I mean, just picking right up where he left off with the NLL season.
Exactly. It's almost like he's ready for the MVP of this one. Got Dane Smith doing the same thing, being the setup guy, right?
Right, a goal and 2 assists, 1-1 for Ian McKay, and Ryan Smith too. Not a Bandit, but hat trick for him.
Close enough. He's in Rochester.
Yeah. So
the Western New York Chaos. How about that?
Yeah. So obviously they'll be a team to watch as the season goes on. I mean they're tied for first place now. We talked about the parity too. With now we saw teams that could have gone 3-0 ended up losing. Teams that could have gone 0-3 ended up winning. So now everyone's within a game of each other in the standings.
Yeah. The thing is this too, right? The Archers got off to a really slow start. It was 5-2 after 1 for Chaos and 8-3 at the half. And even though they got rolling by the third and especially in the fourth, too little, too late. Is there something about the Archers team that is not jiving? You think? Other than the slow start,
especially against a team like Chaos. I mean, give them a lead, they're not gonna.
You're playing with fire if you're gonna start doing that stuff. Chaos, the way they are, and the athleticism on that team is just unbelievable. So.
Yeah, and Archers have that firepower too. So it just I guess for them it just needs to get going from the start. I mean, it's not like with Sisselberger taking faceoffs now. He's breaking out this year.
Yep.
So they've got the possessions. They need to make it happen.
8 scores and 10 goals though. So there's no continuity to it, right? Moore had a goal. Connor Fields had two. By the way, here's one of Connor Fields' goals, just so you know. I believe that there should have been an assault charge, and maybe 2 muggings on this one, 3 flags and something else. But
Jumping that, summon that.
I remember when I was playing in basically Little League ball, and I was told again and again, never give up on a play. This would be your prototypical example for never give up on a play. Because short of putting a steamroller and flattening him through the ground, he took everything there. Still wound up scoring basically from his knees while falling flat on his back. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has the whereabouts to do that too. It's just unbelievable.
It's insane. You know?
And we seem to be seeing a play like that every week in the PLL too.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah.
So
when we get over to the Ryder Garns, that goal is incredible that I have there. We got Nagoli at assist also as another one. I also have that midfield goal from Chrome that I want to show after we take care of the last game. But it's just, you look at this stuff and it's like, wow, the athleticism. How can you not want to catch every single game here? Because it's just insanity. But, it brings us to our last game, which was really, in my eyes, the only not close game of the weekend. And the Whipsnakes had their way with the Redwoods, 18-11. Really, not much of a close game at any given point. Whipsnakes got up to a 6-2 lead after 1, a 13-3 lead at the half. This thing is over. 14-5 after 3, and they basically took their foot off the gas in the fourth. Redwoods actually outscored the Whipsnakes 6-4 in the fourth to make it an 18-11. Fairly respectable game, but there really wasn't much to it. Ryder Garnsey.
You'd expect more out of Redwoods. I mean, you had Ryder Garnsey with 6-2, Rob Pinnell with a couple of goals, but TD Erlin 20 of 29 on faceoffs and 11 ground balls. And we keep talking about Redwoods being one of these teams that, last year live and die by the 2-point goal. No 2-point goals.
Yeah.
Whipsnakes had 3 of them though. So
yeah, pretty amazing. I want to put one of those Garnsey goals up just so you see it. It's a one hand from this offhand.
Goes one-handed and scores! You'll see that later tonight on SportsCenter Top 10. That's never done. One-handed. The lefty with his offhand shoots this. The improbable, the unthinkable Ryder Garnsey.
You just shake your head at this stuff.
The strength to do something like that.
And he has a man on him on top of that. So he's fighting a guy off and firing with his offhand and putting it off the post, the far post, past the goalie.
It's not like he was taking a second hand off the stick. He had that one hand on the stick the entire time. Like the strength to do something like that is
and stay on your course. He's not being pushed off course. That's amazing. Thank you to PLL and thank you to ESPN for the feeds. I do want to show one more feed, and that is of Chrome getting an incredible midfield goal. They needed something at the end of the third to try and bring them in to this game, and well,
from up here, obviously this would have been a 2, but yeah, it deflects off an offensive player, so it's inside the 2-point arc when it deflects. Yep. That's a great call. Desperation mode. It wouldn't have gone in without a deflection. So if you're a Chrome fan, don't be upset that you're only
pretty amazing. What more are you going to see, right? Well, how about this for a goalie assist?
Ever since I left the city,
How about that? Just to make things a little bit more interesting. I did want to bring up one more stat, and it was back from the Atlas game. Let me just pull this one up. We talked about this when we were bringing up the Trevor Baptiste thing. Face-offs was 31-6. 31. It's a record. That's insane.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about how many Erlen won. 31 to 6. That's crazy. But there are no PLL games this week. The next set of games for the PLL, almost a godsend with me being out of town, for the PLL is July 8th, where they will be in Minneapolis for week 4, where the Water Dogs face Chrome. Cannon faces Atlas, both Saturday night games. Sunday afternoon games have the Redwood versus Chaos and the Whip Snakes versus the Archers. All extremely good games. The Sunday game, the Redwood Chaos game, is on ESPN2 for their game of the week. So that should be some spectacular viewing. MSL, again, if you're local, Rogers TV is covering a lot of the Whitby games and a lot of the Cobourg, Peterborough, and Six Nation games. So you can catch a fair amount of these if you go onto MSL's Twitter or onto their regular site and get the link, and you can catch it online. WLA games, of course, are pay-per-view, but you can go onto the WLA site and catch anything you need to know about packages for a bunch of games if you want to watch those games, if you're an insomniac and want to stay up late, if you're in the East, or just want to have something to do in prime time in the West. Any final thoughts on the week that was, guys? Mike, I'll start with you.
Oh, just another wild week, and looking forward to next week. I know we don't have PLL, but I believe fans can vote on the city assignments now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Get on over to the PLL website, and you can catch all the information you need on that, or better yet, download the PLL app, which is even easier to navigate and take care of it that way. We have a busy week for WLA and MSL games, so there'll be plenty. Plus, I will be in San Diego as of midweek covering the World Lacrosse Tournament. So I will be arriving almost in time to do our show next Sunday. By the way, our show is back to its regular time next Sunday night at 9 p.m. and should be there for a little bit until we have another Argo game at 7 p.m. or whatever on a Sunday night. I don't know about these schedules. I don't know who's making these things up. They're coming with Monday games, and so, if you didn't have a ticket, you wouldn't know when the games were. Yeah. Great way to not get any fans to your game is to shove it all over the place at weird times and weird places and not really do any marketing. And that's from the Grey Cup champions. By the way, if you're in the Toronto area, get a ticket, man. It's a replica ring giveaway day. You want to have your replica Grey Cup ring for the house. Show it to all your friends.
Excellent.
I'll have mine. We'll put them on my keys. That way I'll always know I have them. I wrecked the ignition in my car. And again, remember, you can catch everything lacrosse-wise at All Lacrosse All the Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as going on to the EOP.com at www.eopsports.com/lacrosse. Come see us 3, 4, 5 times a day because, man, the lacrosse news is always changing, and with it off season will be an awful lot of movement very, very soon from the NLL. You're already getting things moving around with MSL and WLA, and the PLL is always moving with guys coming in, guys going out. So to see all of that, plus this week we had a lot of outside news again with the passing of Alfie Jacks and with the passing of Don Scott, as well as the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame's inductions. We have a lot of news that are going on continuously. So make sure you come check us out a few times a day. It is still Indigenous Heritage Month in Canada, and I have been able to put up a report daily, which has usually a small video clip or a small read to it dealing with Native history and how it relates to the game itself. And the idea behind it is to bridge the gap of understanding between Native and non-Native and try and get us all to flourish a little bit more, growing the great creators game as big as we can with as much understanding about one another and the culture behind it. And they're really fantastic little clips from all over the place, from different tribes and different areas, and all the stories that go behind it, and the struggles and the triumphs. So it's really worth your time for the couple of minutes just to, get well read on this, because really, in order for us to move forward in this game, and I've said this a number of times, to move forward, you have to know where you've been, and to know the history, and to know all the oppression and all the greatness and all the triumphs along the way really helps grow the game to as big as we can do it. And to take this off of a fringe sport and to put it on the level of the major four is the end game. And we're working our way there. I actually was lucky enough. I was at work the other day, and I had the strength and conditioning coach from the Las Vegas Desert Dogs come by, and we had a chat. So he's working out in Whitby doing that probably for the Brooklyn team as well as his own clinic. But pretty amazing, just out of the blue, to start talking lacrosse out of nowhere. So it's everywhere. It really is everywhere. So yeah. So please, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you following us. We appreciate all the viewership week in and week out. And we look forward to bringing you as much information as we can, as often as we can, week in and week out, day in and day out, hour in and hour out. Because as I've always said, and I've been saying for a long time, is come see us, because we have our finger on the pulse of the situation. And with a great team of writers, with Shawn, with Mike, as well as with Pat and Eduardo as our field reporters, we can get an awful lot covered for you. So make sure you're checking back with us, because we're going to have recaps, interviews, news, and reviews on everything to do with lacrosse. For Shawn Slaght, who is over in Alberta this week, back in Saskatchewan next week, I believe.
Next week. Yep, I will be. I'll be back.
And for Muffler Mike is over in Connecticut. I am, for the time being, in Toronto. Gary Groob, heading over to San Diego. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, guys, be well. And happy Father's Day again to all the fathers and acting fathers from all of us here at All Across all the time. Take care.